There are moments in life when desperation becomes the doorway to divine intervention. When you're at the end of yourself, when you've tried everything, hoped for anything, and are still stuck in the same place. Sometimes, this is one of those stories. Into town of Capernaum, word spread like wildfire. Jesus, the teacher who healed the sick and spoke with authority. Crowds swarmed the house where he was staying, so many people that there was no room left. And in the middle of that chaos, 4 men carried their paralyzed friend. We don't know the paralyzed man's name. We don't know how long he had suffered, but we do know one thing: his friends believed that if they could just get him to Jesus, something would change. They believed it so deeply, they didn't stop when the crowd blocked. They didn't give up when it seemed impossible. Instead, they climbed the roof. They tore through clay and straw and dust. Jesus. Suddenly, light pouring through the broken ceiling. Then, slowly, a mat lowered by ropes appears with a broken man lying flat, helpless, desperate, and exposed before the Son of God. And Jesus stops. He sees their faith, not just the man on the mat, but the fierce, determined love of those who carried him. And then Jesus does something unexpected. He says, "Son, your sins are forgiven." The man came for healing, but Jesus gave him something deeper first: spiritual restoration, forgiveness. And in that moment, he revealed a truth we all need to hear. Sometimes God addresses the inside. Some religious leaders watching took offense. Who can forgive sins but God alone, they thought. But Jesus, knowing their hearts, asked them, "Your sins are forgiven," or to say, "Get up, take your mat, and walk." And just to show that he had the authority to do both, he turned to the man and said, "I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home." And the man stood up. After a lifetime of paralysis, he stood up, picked up his mat. The crowd was stunned. They praised God and said, "We have never seen anything like this." But the miracle wasn't just physical. It was spiritual, it was emotional, it was personal, and it still speaks to us today. How many of us are paralyzed not in body? How many of us need to be lowered through the roof of our pride, our fear, our excuses, to truly encounter Jesus? And maybe right now, you're in that place longing for breakthrough, hoping that something will change. This is your reminder that even when life feels blocked, and if you've been struggling with aligning your mind and spirit with abundance and breakthrough, you've found something powerful to help. These are special sound frequencies, carefully designed to help attract abundance and put you on the path toward financial peace and emotional clarity. Thousands have already experienced life-changing results. You'll find the link in the description of this video. Try it. Might be the turning point you've been praying for. Because, just like the paralyzed man, your life can change in one divine moment. When the paralyzed man stood and walked, it wasn't just his legs that were healed. And the beauty of this moment is that it wasn't a solo miracle. It took a community. It took courage. It took faith strong enough to break through a ceiling. Let's talk about the friends. They didn't just pray. They didn't just wait. They carried. They climbed. They risked public embarrassment. They interrupted a sermon. They made a hole in someone else's roof because they believed Jesus was worth the interruption. What kind of people do you have in your life? Who are your roof breakers? Or maybe the better question is, who are you willing to carry to Jesus? This miracle was a combination of desperation and faith. And where so many breakthroughs are born not in the absence of difficulty. Jesus didn't heal the man because everything was perfect. He healed him in the mess, surrounded by doubters, critics, and chaos. And he can do the same in your life. You see, God is not intimidated by the roof you have to tear through. He's not surprised by your brokenness, your sin, your exhaustion. Sometimes we think we have to be perfect to approach him. But this story proves the opposite. It's our weakness, that often becomes the bridge to his power. Maybe you feel stuck, like you've been lying on a mat for too long. You've accepted your condition. You've convinced yourself that nothing's going to change. But what if today is the day? What if this is your roof-tearing moment? Jesus is still in the house. He's still healing, still forgiving. He's still restoring, but you have to move. Maybe the movement looks like asking for help. Maybe it's confessing something. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you trust. Oh, maybe it's as simple and as brave as choosing to believe again. Because here's a powerful truth. Faith is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like a quiet, relentless refusal. The friends didn't give up, and their faith became the turning point for someone else's miracle. Maybe your faith can do the same. Sometimes God calls us to be the ones who carry, to be the hands that lift, the voices that intercede. And other times, we're the ones who need to be carried. Both are sacred. Both are holy. Both lead us to Jesus. And what happened after the healing? The people praised God. The miracle didn't just restore the man, it inspired everyone who witnessed it. That's what happens when Jesus steps in. What was broken gets mended. What was impossible becomes a testimony. And what was stuck? And that's the message of this story. No ceiling is too high. No crowd too big, and no condition too permanent for Jesus to reach you. So maybe this is your moment. Maybe you've been feeling forgotten. Maybe you've been lying on your own, mad of pain, regret, or doubt for far too long. But look up. There's light breaking through the roof. Look up, because sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come through the door. Sometimes it comes through the ceiling. Through a way you didn't expect. Through people you didn't see coming. Through a moment that looks nothing like what you imagined, but everything like what you needed. This is how God works. He meets us where we are, our mats, in our mess, surrounded by impossibility, and lifts us up in front of everyone who thought we'd stay down forever. Jesus didn't just heal the man's body, he gave him something even greater. Before he said, "Get up," he said, "Your sins are forgiven." Always goes deeper. We want healing in our bodies. He wants restoration in our souls. He wants quick fixes. He gives eternal solutions. And maybe that's what you need today, not just a fix, not just change in your circumstances, but transformation in your heart. That starts by inviting him in. And here's something to help you take that step. We've found something powerful: an audio program based on scientifically proven sound frequencies designed to realign your mindset, reduce internal stress, and attract prosperity into your life. This isn't magic. It's about placing your mind and spirit in a position of peace and openness. Because the more at peace you are, the more aligned you become with God's abundance. You can find the link to this tool in the description of this video. It's helped many already, and it may be exactly what you've been praying for. Gives. Check the description now and see how it can transform your quiet time, your mindset. Because God's abundance is not just spiritual, it touches every part of life. Now, back to the story. Everyone in that room saw something that day they'd never forget. A man who couldn't walk. A king. A man who was carried in, walking out with his mat under his arm. A man whose life was limited, now testifying of freedom, and that's the invitation for you. Don't just hear this story, become this story. Let your pain become purpose. Let your weakness become a doorway for his strength. Let your situation become a stage for his glory. Because the same Jesus who healed that man is still moving today, is still healing, still forgiving, still lifting people off their mats and calling them into a brand new life. So, here's what you can do right now. A moment. And pray, ask God to give you the courage to move, to break through whatever ceiling is holding you back, and to carry someone else if they need help. Visit the link in the description to explore the sound program that can realign your focus, bring clarity to your thoughts, and open new doors of abundance and peace in your daily life. Subscribe to this channel, Heaven Speaks, so you don't miss more powerful messages that bring the Bible to life and help you walk deeper with God. Leave a comment with what you're believing for. And if you've ever been carried by someone else's faith, share your story. It could lift someone who needs it today. Share this video with someone who feels stuck, someone who needs hope, someone who needs to know that Jesus is still in the house. Because when desperation meets divine power, miracles happen.